Title: AITA for telling my sister to stop using the word family on me like it's supposed to mean something? As stated in a prior post, I was kicked out at 15 for being gay. From 15 to 35 I had no contact with my family. Over the years they have somehow managed to work their way back into my life. Only in a small capacity. My sister, who is younger than me, called earlier and asked what me and my husband were doing for Thanksgiving. I told her that it was just us and that we were just going to have a nice dinner and probably watch TV for the night. And go to bed early. She told me that she was having dinner and that we need to show up. I told her thank you, but this was the first set of holidays in 10 years that I didn't have to host, and I was planning on staying home and just putting on a fresh pair of pajamas after a shower and not going anywhere. She then asked about Christmas and I told her the same thing. She then asked when it would be a good time to get together. I told her point blank that I wasn't all that interested given our history and that I was perfectly happy with how things were at this point. This was when she got pissed off and started to yell at me, saying that I need to start acting more a part of the family and that I need to let go of the past. She told me that we as family need to try and bridge the gap and move forward in a positive way. I told her no, we don't. We hardly know each other. We are very much strangers. I also told her she needs to stop throwing the word family around like it is supposed to mean something to me. When we started to talk again when I was 35, when our dad died, her and my brother constantly berated me and told me that I need to just let them deal with everything that needed to be done. I never disagreed with them. I told them that they could handle it. I was berated when our mother was sick for not visiting her in the hospital or when she was home. I really don't have much of a relationship with my mom, and she is a pretty good stranger as well, so it didn't really matter. I threw everything back in her face. Before we hung up, she reminded me that it wasn't my husband's blood that runs through my body. And blood is thicker than water. I told her no. My husband's blood did not in fact run through my body. But his semen did, and that was close enough. I thought my husband was going to wet his pants. So AITA for telling my sister to stop using the word family like it means something? And #X200B, edit. Good morning everyone. I hope that you are all having a great day. First, I wanted to say thank you for all the responses, awards and everything else in between. This has been completely insane. I never thought this would go so far. I have tried to read every single response, but there are so many that it will take hours to get through them all. I wanted to do this edit to fill in some blanks, so to speak. When I was kicked out I was 15 and my sister was 8. So she did not have anything to do with what happened. But she had every opportunity to find me after a certain point. When she was 16 and had her own car, she could have come find me. When she was 18 and on her own, she could have come to find me. She never did. When our dad died, it was a friend of mine who talked me into going so that I could maybe find some kind of peace with what happened all those years ago. She and another friend went with. My husband, boyfriend at the time, had to work and couldn't get the time off. Initially I was greeted with surprise and thank you for coming. But then with hostility from my sister and brother. If they for a minute thought I was out to get something from them or our dad's estate, they were wrong. I wanted nothing. And to this day I still don't. My siblings have always told me what my place in the family is. Which is basically I'm window dressing. I have been told that I have no business in knowing anything about the family finances, family affairs or anything. I think that they are afraid that I could potentially take something that they want or are supposed to get. A couple of weeks ago my mom asked me to read over some financial paperwork that she didn't understand. Reluctantly I agreed, but once my sister found out, she screamed at me for putting my nose into areas that I don't belong. I told my mom not to ask me for anything again because I will not be involved. I have been asked a few times why I do keep in contact with them. The answer is because it's my way of keeping ahead of them. I do not voluntarily make contact with them. I have no reason to. I keep my Facebook locked down to the point that I don't show my city, my job, my phone number, nothing. But I can see all of their stuff. This works because they post a lot, and if I see that they are having problems with whatever the case may be, then I can work to make sure that if they ask for something I cannot answer or just ignore them altogether. Plus it does give an open avenue for communication in the even of a major emergency. Plus maybe I still hold onto a hope that they will, maybe at some time they will actually apologize. But I don't see that ever being the case. I have been asked if my mom has ever apologized. No, she has not. And she never will. She is from a generation where parents don't apologize to their kids, because that would mean they did something wrong. She is from a generation where kids were to be seen and not heard. I guess it comes down to this. My family has formed this dynamic that I will never be a part of or want to be a part of. And I'm okay with that. I was not asked to come to Thanksgiving or Christmas. I was told that I will be there. Why? I don't know. Then when I declined twice, things got ugly. Title: AITA for telling my sister and parents that she can never live with me. To start with, I, 26F, have never had a good relationship with my sister, 32F. She liked being a younger sibling and had no interest in me. She moved out when she was 18 and ceased any contact with me, even going as far as rubbing it in my face how she never wanted to know me, by showing up for Christmas at grandparents' houses and bringing gifts for our cousins but not me, and by showing up for their birthdays but not mine. The last time I was any way hopeful for us to have a relationship was at our youngest cousin's first birthday party when I was 15. She brought along her friends and was mocking me for trying to talk to her when I saw her earlier at the party. So I hardened toward her that day and decided if she didn't want to be my sister, then I would just need to accept that and move on from her. She got married when I was 17 and told our parents I was not welcome. Our parents tried to change her mind, but she was not having it. I thought that was when they realized there was no way we were going to be buddies someday or even real family. And now they expect me to help her out. She got divorced from her husband 4 years ago. He got her into a lot of debt and then bailed. They have a 7-year-old together. She lost her job recently and she got a new job in my city, and then the rental she had planned to move into fell through and she ended up asking me to stay. I told her no. She went to our parents and the three put pressure on me. When I stood by my stance, they paid for her to stay in a hotel for a while. She has not been able to secure a place and apparently lost the job due to a lack of actual address. They are all saying I turned my back on her and we should help family. I got really frustrated with all of them, but especially my parents. She has never wanted a single thing to do to me. She has purposely gone out of her way to hurt my feelings and make it clear I am nothing to her. But I'm supposed to help her out because she's a struggling single mom. After everything? With no apology or actual sign that she doesn't feel the same about me. Where my guilt is coming in to ask this is she has a daughter and I feel bad for her. But her daughter is also a stranger to me. I have never been part of her life and I don't even know if she knows who I am. But still, she's a kid, and as a mom now I am wondering if I am being a total dick here like they seem to believe. Title: AITA for not backing up a female coworker in a sexual harassment case. Throwaway in case any of those involved use Reddit. I was recently called upon as a witness in a sexual harassment case at work. The reported incident was that a male colleague had made a sexually themed joke to a female colleague and that it had offended her. What had happened was male colleague said the joke to female colleague, she laughed and made a sexually themed joke in return. 2 weeks later, he was promoted instead of her, and so she reported him for his joke, saying it was inappropriate and made her uncomfortable. When I gave my account, I told HR what happened, told them the joke he made and the joke she made. They ruled that there was no wrongdoing, and that was that. Since then, female colleague as well as other female colleagues have called me an awe for not backing her up. Title: AITA for hiding from my wife the reason why our son got kicked out of a restaurant. Our son told me the truth but did not tell her because he was afraid of his mom's reaction. Ordinarily I would have told my wife, but the situation ultimately was a misunderstanding and something I was able to quickly resolve with the restaurant owner. He and his friends had gone out to eat at this place, and apparently my son decided to make a joke and hit on their waitress. Others said things too, but his was the one that upset her and resulting in her telling the owner. It wasn't a bad joke or what I'd consider sexist, but it was in poor taste. When she told the owner, he got upset and asked the boys to leave. They were all embarrassed and told us that they left because they weren't feeling well instead of the real reason. At least at first. My son told me what really happened, and one of his friends ended up also telling his mom the truth after she questioned his story. By the time he confessed, I'd already talked with my son and the owner of the restaurant and worked things out. My son and the rest of the boys aren't banned from the restaurant and everything is fine now. I saw no need to involve my wife in this because she would have escalated this when our son was already embarrassed and had learned his lesson. There wasn't anything else to say or do. My wife disagrees and thinks I am the asshole for hiding the truth from her and for enabling our son's sexism, as she puts it. She doesn't think I've actually done anything except teach him that he can say and do what he wants without consequences. This is because I didn't punish him and convinced the restaurant owner to look the other way. In this case, I didn't feel more needed to be said or done because what he said wasn't that bad and he seemed sorry. Now that the other parents know what happened, everyone is split. Most of the dads agree with me and have similar views while the moms are taking the same view as my wife. So am I the asshole? Edit, since some are asking for the joke.